We're live, Renske. We're live, Frey. Frey's just letting us out. We're going to take you on a last minute little live hack out. Thank you, Frey. So sorry not to give you any notice of this. But sometimes it's hard to plan, especially at this time of year, where we're very much in the hands of the weather and how long it takes to look after everybody every day. So I'll wait for a few more of you to join us. And you can just enjoy that lovely view between Wren's gorgeous ears, looking over the Cartmel Valley. Hey Tara, first here, lovely to see you. And Karen, Paul, hello to anybody joining, whether I see your name or not. Apologies to those who I miss. Let's stop on the driveway for a minute. Hi Lorna, hi Peg, hello Jane. Oh, isn't this nice? Hey Rain, your second trip out in a week. Hello Novi. So I thought we went up the hill the other day, so we're going to go down the hill today. And then we can go and see the boys and the girls. We're not going to go out for long. Hi Linda. But isn't it nice to see the road dry as well? There's not too much of a breeze today. I'm quite surprised that it didn't ice up overnight because it's really very, very chilly. It's 0 degrees with you, Peg. Gosh. I don't think it's supposed to freeze tonight. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, Ren. Ren's been, sorry, I just dropped my reins on her just because I had an itchy eye. Not that you needed to know that. There we go. She's just taking me along. I don't need to pick up the reins, do I, Ren? What was I going to say? Yeah, Ren's been free reining for a few days. Every now and again she just likes to be up at the yard, but she kind of told us yesterday that she's ready to go back down to the field, so she's going to go back out with all the other girlies tonight. What's she been doing this morning? This morning she's been babysitting Nero along with it was just her in with Nero. So we've had some lovely visitors here this morning. And I'm glad it worked out, because a lot of the time we don't necessarily encourage too many visitors at this time of year because it takes all our day just to look after everybody. The young lady was celebrating her 11th birthday on Monday, so she came along, did one of our Meet the Horses tours, and also had a very special thing organised for her. Thanks to her mum, we organised for her to have a sit on Hidda, and then not on Hidda, sorry, on Annie. There's Angel Eyes. And then she went in the friendship barn with Floppy Doo. There's Hannes. Hi Delex. Linda, the girls' fundraiser, it's ticking along. Thank you very much for asking. I'm going to take you down to see that area. I've not been able to do an awful lot on the planning of that yet, because obviously we've got quite a lot of work to finish off with the Hoitzer and Jubba's house and all the other projects that we've had running. But I'm hoping to be able to dedicate some time to that in the next few weeks. I've got Tony on board, who obviously did all the groundworks, preparing for us to get a static in. And so it's quite a difficult one to sort of push for that until we know really a project cost. But I will obviously keep everybody updated. Hi Adrian. Hi Diane. Anyway, there's Hannes. You might be able to see he's just got... Hold on, let's just take that bit of... Can I get that bit of haylage from away from your eye? I don't think I can. Ren, do you want to just take me a little bit closer? Let's just brush that off. Are you going to let me? You're not going to let me. He's just... For those who are following for the first time, Angel Eyes, you'll have seen the other side that he looks like he's got lots of scarring around that eye. Because he's been plagued with sarcoids for many years. Oh, here's Uber, who's going to come and squeal at Ren and tell Hannes off. Uber loves the girls. Hello, Christy. This is Renske. She's a Friesian. So we're a Friesian sanctuary in the Lake District. These are 3 of our sanctuary boys. So Uber has been with us for a couple of years. We rescued him a couple of years ago. He's old man Uber. He's an older gentleman who was not in very good shape when he arrived with us. But he now has a lovely life looking after our original sanctuary boy, Hannes here, and Iceman. Hi, John. Karen, Tracy, is Nero's leg any better by being up at the yard? Well, it's... Oops, hold on. Let me just... I can't scroll for a minute. What's happened? Here we go. Sorry. Hi, Adrian. Hi, anybody that I've missed. I'm just going to hold you here for a minute. Nero, he's walking. He's looking good. He's very mellow at the moment, and I can't quite establish whether it's because there's that sort of nagging dull pain with him, or whether it's just because he's happy to be up there and he's in a real routine now. So he comes out in the morning, he goes on the walker for half an hour, and he walks well. He's certainly stiffer in the morning, and when he rolls, when he first gets up, he's quite sore on it. So I'm very much adjusting his meds every day to see how he's coping. Part of me wants to keep the meds at a lower level so that he doesn't run around and chase around and dislodge the bone growth there that's helping that joint to fuse. So I think he's definitely looking better in the walk. So I'm hoping that we're on the right tracks with him. And what I'll do, sorry, I'm going to take you away from the boys now and just head off down the lane. We'll go and see the girls. So yeah, as I say, I play it day by day. I'm hoping in the next week or 2 that we might be able to start including a bit more groundwork, but because time does tend to run away with us every day at this time of year, I don't want to start doing that until I can do it more consistently. So I've got in my mind at the beginning of March I might start taking him across to Mel's and start getting a little bit more structure in the groundwork, and hopefully over the next 6 months what we do with him in a more controlled way will help that hock to fuse. Yeah, Linda, I do think he is very happy to be up at the yard. At the end of the day, they sorry, not got the right gloves on for scrolling through a phone here. They all love to be up there. So I think he's probably just keeping his head down and in the hope that he doesn't get turned back out. Hi, Jamie. I did just send you an email. I'm glad that you were able to join. Sorry, it was a very rushed email that I sent you. But more coming on what Jamie's been working on very, very soon. I'm not going to tell you now as much as I want to. Anyway, here's the girlies. There's the girlies. Ren, you get to go out and join them again tonight. So we have on the left is Yolanda. So one of your 3 nieces, Ren. So Yolanda, little Mai. And then we've got the Peppa Pig, or Mabel. Hi, Beelzebub. And then we've got little skinny Innie, who is usually standing with Doubtson. But Doubtson is over there by one of the hay bars. That's her over there with Spesh, with Xiao. They've all had their food today. Sorry, we couldn't do a live feeding time this morning because with our visitors coming, there was an awful lot to get done, so we couldn't hang around. But it's been really lovely this morning. We had Jodie in early as well, and Jodie doesn't always work on a Saturday, but Jodie, Frey and myself, we got the yard done, we got Hidda and Annie all tidied up and ready for our visitors. Because it does take a little bit more time at this time of year because they all get quite grubby. Mai, what are you doing? Are you lifting your top lip? That usually means that you're around season time. Oh, Peg, I love our Friesian family as well. Beelzebubs, Izzy or Innie? Innie, skinny Innie. Little Inna. Hey, Inna. And I know, a lot of you do feel sorry for Inna because she is, the bottom of the pecking order. And sometimes I look at her and I do feel bad, but she was definitely buddied up with Doubtson yesterday. And, somebody's got to be bottom of the herd. And unfortunately, it's her at the moment. But, as we head towards spring, as you say, Beelzebubs, it's on its way. Then there'll be more opportunity for her and all the others to come up and spend a bit more time up on the yard. And obviously we'll have more visitors who'll come along and make them feel even more loved and even more special. Hey, Spesh. Hey, little Spesh. Oh. Anyway, we'll just have a little amble down the road. Hi, Ange. Jane, she would, would absolutely love going in with the boys. But with Uber being quite so dominant, then that really would be asking for trouble because Uber would be constantly trying to push the other boys away from Inna. And she's quite, what's the word? She's very hormonal herself, and there's a lot of squealing and leg kicking out. And she has quite challenging seasons anyway. So if she was around the boys, I think that would make it quite challenging. So yeah, we don't want to cause arguments where they're not necessary. Sorry, I'm scrolling through your comments, so apologies if I miss any. John, you're loving this ride. I know, it's very cool, isn't it? Excuse my sniffles. It is quite chilly. Diane, do you know that's actually a good thing to move on to is the haylage. Yes, we have got quite a lot of haylage left, but we are working through that. But it was, I was having a conversation with Philip yesterday because Philip came and unloaded all our shavings off the lorry for us. And actually, the quality of the haylage hasn't been great this year, which is really surprising because I thought it was quite dry when we baled it and it looked really good. But they've picked through it quite a lot, and some of the bales have been quite stinky. And I was worried that it was the organic fertiliser that we'd put on. But when I was speaking to Philip yesterday, he was saying that all his own haylage, which is just in the neighbouring fields to ours, that his cows and sheep are sort of picking through it and not enjoying it as much as usual. So we've got a plan to get some lime on the land this year as soon as possible, which will hopefully sweeten it up a little bit. It's fine, it's edible, but it's maybe not as sweet and as nice as they would like it. Hi, Lorna. Hello, Halo Luna. Oh, somebody's already answered you, but yes, Renske is a Friesian. A very beautiful Friesian at that. Aren't you, Ren? She says, I'm quite keen to actually go back to the girls, but we'll just walk down to the end of the lane and back. Harlow, she's called Renske. So she's 20 years old. She turned 20 this year. Originally born over in Friesland, and she's been with us since she was 4 years old. Linda, I don't know that we could grow alfalfa, and to be honest, I'm not keen on feeding a lot of alfalfa. I know it's used an awful lot overseas. But no, what I like about our land is it's all very natural meadow grass, but what's happened is over the years it's gone a little bit acidic, which is why you get the buttercups growing and some of the weeds, and we need to just balance the pH a little bit better, which is what we need to do with the lime. We were going to put it on last year, but it didn't work timing wise with when we were putting the organic fertiliser on and spreading the muck on the land. So Diane, it is certainly something that we need to get on the wish list, but I'm waiting to get a cost from, there's a local chap called David who Philip's going to get in touch with about how much we'll need and what the cost is going to be. Oops, sorry, hold on. There we go. John, lime will make the grass grow better, and it'll give it a more natural sweetness. I don't want to put any chemical fertilisers on the land. Excuse me. A lot of places put a lot of nitrogen on to help the grass grow quicker, and obviously put weed killers on to get rid of the weeds that aren't desirable. But I noticed that in this year's batch there were more weeds than we would usually have, and they're ones that thrive in acidic soil. So I think by just rebalancing the pH levels, that's going to encourage the grass to grow and be more dominant over the weeds that have clearly taken the dominance over the last season. Hi Susan in Norfolk. Hiya. Sorry? Yeah. Oh, you lime your garden. I lime my yard and it makes the grass go green. Yeah, we always like a nice bit of green grass. And I always look at Philip's field that doesn't get grazed over the winter, and then look at ours. So this is Philip's at the front, and then ours behind it where the girls have all grazed over the winter, and ours is quite yellow, his is quite green, but he only has a couple of sheep on it. So Peg, the yard is looking splendid with all the crushed to dust stone. Yeah, all that limestone. Yeah, the crush and run. And yeah, it would be lovely to have the whole yard done with it at some point, but it's, you know, there's other things that the funds need to be allocated to. And yes, it's quite frightening when all the bills start coming in and all the funds start going out. And yes, I'm having to be very careful about, you know, making sure that, you know, funds are being put towards the things that they've been raised for, because it would be very easy to get carried away and start doing all of these improvement works up at the yard, but there's other priorities. But yeah, Michael's pretty much finished his side of the Hoitzer and Jubba's house, so I paid his balance bill the other day, which was, I think the original quote was for the rebuild just of the house itself was about 21, and I think it's ended up about 24, 25, but we've got a lot of work still to do. The concrete pad in the region of 10 to 15, we need to do exact measurements this week. We're waiting for Peter, who's going to be doing the concreting, and then obviously we've got those dog bone pavers that are going on top that are, I think that's about 11,000. I will do a video with an update on all the prices and all the costs, you know, just because it's interesting for everybody to know how much these things come to. But I was actually looking at the figures again last night, and the original budget for doing that whole area was 55,000, and we're closer to 80. But you know, once you start on these things, you see other things that would be nice to do, and when you're adding in an extra window and a seat in the wall, and we've got gates to go on, so yeah, it all adds up. But you know, as you've all said and as you've all seen, it's so lovely to see something built to last, and it's going to stand there for hundreds of years. And yeah, Peg, it is absolutely fabulous. You know, it is the sort of place that any of us could move into. It's so beautiful. Sorry, let me get back to your comments. I keep losing them off my screen. Linda, do you have a cost yet for the new gate at the front of the yard where Teddy Bear hung out? Again, it was something that I was talking about this week with Chris, because that's something that Chris and Aidan are due to be making. Unfortunately, Chris hasn't been well really for a little while yet, so I don't feel like I can push him on that. We've got a grant that was given to us by the Harold and Alice Bridges Trust last year of £3,000 towards that gate. And when we spoke about it last year, they said that it's going to be in the region of 5,000 to 6,000 to make. But I need to wait for Chris to be well, because I need him to do that gate, and I need him to do the stable door on the Hoytzer and Jubba's house. So it's very much on my mind that it's something that we need to get done. So as I say, there's 3,000 there towards it. But I have asked them, and I did ask them last year to give me an accurate price, but I'm afraid I haven't got that yet. Right, sorry, what have I missed? Hi Pernilla, lovely to see you, and I'm glad you've caught us live, and I'm sorry that I didn't really give much warning on it. Frey's very good at saying to me, come on, you can squeeze it in. And then she got Ren out and she got her all ready for me, which was really helpful, because it has been a very busy morning here this morning. Phoenix, do you do hunter's jumpers? Hunter jumpers, are we talking about horses? We don't do hunting. We've done a bit of jumping over the years, but it's not really a big part of what we do now. Lorna, Michael did the windows, couldn't he do the door? He possibly could, but we need him to start on the rebuilding work on the Shippen, which he's going to be starting at the beginning of March, and that's a completely separate project to everything that we're doing sort of with the horses and around the yard. So I don't want to put that extra pressure on him. And I know it would have been nice if Jubba's had a window at the bottom of his house, but to be honest, the door is going to be open the majority of the time. So, you know, because it's important that they can still free reign in that area. Jenny, let's stop here for a minute again while I read some comments. Jenny, as an ex-horsewoman who became disabled and can no longer ride, I just want to say thank you for taking us along with you. The hoofbeats heal my soul. Oh, Jenny, that's lovely. That's really lovely. Well, that's the whole idea, you know. I've done these live hacks since the pandemic, and I know I don't do them often enough, but the idea is that you can all feel like you're riding yourselves, and you can't beat that sound of hooves on the tarmac. Oh, Ren's decided she wants to go back up the hill now. I'd like to say that I'll stop talking so you can just concentrate on that, but I'm not very good at stopping talking. You know me, I like to just waffle on. John, can I ask how old the original farm is? All the stone fences make it look hundreds of years old. I love it. Well, The porch on the house, if I've got this right and I remember it correctly, it says 1664. And I think, did Tamara find out whether the barns came first or the house came first? I have a really bad memory for these things. But yeah, it is hundreds of years old. You know, it stood there for a very long time, as has probably a lot of these walls. And, you know, that's the lovely thing about what Michael does. And it's why I was very keen for us to start rebuilding the buildings that have fallen derelict over the years. Because, you know, if done properly, I'm just going to let Ren have a pick of grass. There you go. You haven't had nice fresh grass for a while. You know, that way they do last. So, you know, there we've got a fabulous field shelter, but that field shelter is not going to last hundreds of years. But we would have had to have gone through the whole planning department, and the chances of us getting a more permanent building in this area were really remote. So, you know, we have to make do with a temporary structure here. But up at the farm, where we've got lots of old stone barns that, you know, if they're given the investment and the workmanship of somebody like Michael, they are going to stand there, as I say, for hundreds more years. Let me scroll through. Sorry if I'm missing any comments. Do you want to say hello to the boys again? Oh, that's Uber. Hold on, let me pick the reins up. Uber, honestly, he's all talk. Linda, Peggy, what about the Friesian Friendship Village? I would love to build like a proper village up there. Maybe one day. We're aiming along those lines. But again, we have to remember we're in the national parks. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through messages. Linda, do you need any more volunteers? Well, we did have 2 ladies who turned up last week, the week before, but for whatever reason, they decided it wasn't for them, or there was something going on with one of their relatives back home, so they arrived and left on the same day. So we have struggled. I know that there's some people who said, can we come and volunteer for a week? And I'm afraid that's just not really an option, because without wanting to sound awful, it by the time you know what's going on and what needs to be done, then your week's over, and it takes a lot of time to explain everything. And then by the end of the week, we've not achieved everything that we need to do. We've shown somebody how to do things and then they're gone. So we tend to prefer either local volunteers who come in sort of once a week, as our wonderful, you know, small group of volunteers do, because then they get to know things that need to be done. They turn up on the yard and they just get on with it, because otherwise you run the risk of everyone standing around and chatting and having a good old catch up without anything being achieved. Whereas if there's volunteers who can come along for really 3 weeks minimum, to come along, and then Tamara's very good at sort of assigning different jobs to people, so that at least volunteers can go away feeling that they've achieved something as well. You know, the idea is really to have helpers around the farm. It's not so much the help with the horses, because it's important that the core team is doing the work with the horses. It's all the other stuff around the place, you know, the poo picking, the tidying up, all of that sort of thing. But, you know, until we've got the accommodation in place whereby we can offer somewhere for people to stay if they're coming from a distance, it's really hard to get that all in place. So, you know, we are short of helping hands, and in an ideal world, I want to get to the point where, you know, we can bring in another full-time member of the team, who's who's able to help with everything to do with the sanctuary and the horses, but we're not financially in a position yet where we could do that. And as I say, unless it's somebody locally, and I think it's hard to find somebody locally, we need to bring somebody else in from away, and we need to provide accommodation. But, you know, we're moving out of the house at the end of March. We're going to be taking up the static caravan, which is why we've got the static campaign that we're running at the moment, because we need to get another one in so that we can provide that housing for anyone who's coming along to help. I hope that all makes a little bit of sense. Thought I heard a shouting down there. Anyway, enough of that. There's the boys. I'm going to take you back up to the farm. There we go, Ren. Did you have a nice chat with the boys? Look, we've got the Dexter cows over there. That's Peter and Philip's little Dexters. I saw one lying down earlier and I thought maybe it was having a calf, because they do pop little calves out every now and again. But I don't know whether these are the pregnant ones or whether they're the youngsters. Can't quite see over the hedge. John, you would give anything if you could volunteer weekly. I'm a way off, I'm afraid. Yeah, you see, that only really works for anybody who's local here, because otherwise, you know, it's a long way for somebody to drive. Peg, how are the kids doing? I've seen Twix and Dee this morning. I have to say, because I've not been sort of out and about round the lanes that much, I haven't seen MK recently, but I know that she spends an awful lot of time at our neighbours just up over here, behind this house here. So she's obviously just decided that Twix and Dee weren't going to be friends with her. Hello, Julia. Hello, Friday Night Fishing Club, John. We are all having a good day. It's dry, and I'm on Renske, so that can only be good. I hope you're having a good day too. Thank you, Pernilla, for the reminder. I always need somebody to remind me that if you've not hit the like button or the love button, or you've not put a comment, you know, if you could hit that subscribe button. That's actually our neighbour who MK likes to go and spend time with. Then, yeah, we would love to have you on board. And, you know, if you like what you see today, I am planning to get you out on more live hacks this year, as and when I can. Hi, Sam. John, you've got to fly. Hope not literally. Oh, you'd have to fly to get here. Ah, okay. I don't remember where you are, John. But yeah, that would be a long commute, wouldn't it? Whenever you have to take a plane. Not really a good way to volunteer. I think that would end up being quite costly. Unless you had your own private jet, of course. Oh, look, the boys are having a play down there. Oh, you're in Tennessee. Yes, that's quite a distance. Quite a distance. Oh, look at that view. Never get bored of it. Never get bored. And the clouds are so beautiful as well. Thank you, Beelzebubs. Ren will have a nice brush down, and then she'll stand under the solarium for a bit before she has her jumper back on and goes back out with the girls. Oh, look, you can just see at the door there, Tamara's little dog, Woody, on the left. Mum's dog, Millie, who you might have seen in Tamara's video, having her little pedicure. What's that, Peg? Life hacks give those of us who live away a very wonderful experience of actually being there with you all. Oh, well, it's lovely. I always feel a bit lonely when I go out hacking without live streaming these days. So it's really lovely to have you all on board. Jamie, yeah, come on, son. I know it's trying. It's up there. Should we go and have Ren? Should we go and have a little walk in here? Let's go and have a look. We haven't put hoof prints on here, but it'll all get levelled before it gets concreted. You love the lives. Thank you, Jane. Look, here we go. So these were things that sort of pushed up the price of the Hoytzer and Jubber's house. This lovely little seating area and the extra window there. But so worth it. So Michael's cleared all his stuff out now. And those handmade windows, you know, they're mahogany. So again, built to last. So they did push the price up a little, but so worth it. Look, Ren, you can see your reflection in there. Can you see your reflection? She says, I want to live in here. Can I move in with Hoytzer and Jubbers? So Tony's going to be coming back once this is concreted and sorting out the field. And, you know, again, that's all adds. And then we were looking at the gateway the other day and thinking, well, this post and that post aren't very nice, and I foolishly hadn't added them into the budget. And then I'm thinking, well, it would be a shame to put a metal gate back on. We'd probably want a nice wooden gate, you know. And then this bit of wall. We had Neil here the other day. So anyway, but thanks to one of our amazing anonymous donors, we did get that 110k campaign boosted. So hopefully that's going to cover all those costs. Ren will have to join the queue behind you for moving in with Hoytzer and Jubbers. Yeah, everyone's going to want to move in with them. Yes, the windows do open and they pin back. Hello, Feeling My Life. Nice to see lots of new names and people on here. So whether you're joining and commenting or whether you're just a silent follower, welcome and thank you for coming along with me and Ren on this little pootle down the road. Beelzebubs, we need to keep his coffee chair. Oh, definitely. Lorna, maybe Michael could make a matching door, but if you didn't catch what I said earlier, I'm just slightly concerned that, you know, there's only so much we can ask him to do because he's got another big project to take on. Hi Lance, good to see you. We're just back from our little poodle out with Ren. Right, Ren, shall I open the gate and you can come through? Thank you, Diane, for reminding everybody to hit the like and the subscribe button. And how is Hoytzer's withers healing nicely, I hope? Ren, are you going to come through, darling? Come on, good girl. Go on, come through and then I'll shut the gate across. Do you want to go back under the solarium? Where are you going? Oh, she's off. We'll see where she wants to go. I'll take you over to see Hoytz in a sec. It is healing. There's Frey. Everyone needs to thank Frey for making sure that Ren was ready to go out and do this. Oh, Frey's also very good at putting links on and quietly disposing of those who aren't really suitable for our channel. Did we have anyone today, Frey?
There was one which YouTube held for review.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, we've got a few more people coming through. Novi says thank you, Frey. Yeah, she is brilliant as usual, isn't she? Hi, Sharon. You're staying quiet, loving this live. We don't mind if people stay quiet, but it's always nice if you can hit that subscribe button. You know, different people have their different reasons as to whether they want to comment, whether they just want to follow and stay quiet. It's not a problem. Hi, Hazel. Everyone's saying thank you to you, Frey. John, don't boot me, Frey, please. Frey wouldn't boot you off, John. It's only the really disturbing ones, you know, and you always get one or two. But you find it quite entertaining, don't you, Frey? But she's proper on the ball. She doesn't give them a chance, you know. So we only like animal lovers on here. And that's the worst thing you can do is be disrespectful to any kind of animal. Then you don't stand a chance. Freya takes no prisoners. Feeling my life. Where are we from? We're in Cartmel in Cumbria in the Lake District in England. Here we go. We've got you back. That was my mother trying to call me. Unfortunately, wasn't going to talk about this. My mother is struggling quite a bit at the moment with her Alzheimer's, which for any of you who've dealt with people with Alzheimer's, you'll know what that's like. Hopefully you're back with me.
Yeah, no, it takes a few
Yeah.
seconds to read things.
Hopefully you are back. Just let me know whether you're back, whether we've got you back or not. Ren's getting undressed. Somebody just... Oh, we're back. Thank you, John, for letting me know. Yes, I just need to call my mother back in a minute. She's having a very difficult time. Jenny, your dad's got Alzheimer's. Yeah. Yeah, it's when things go missing and there's the thought that they've been stolen and people have come in and robbed us, and yeah. Anyway, those of you that have dealt with it will know the very distressing things that can happen. Anyway, there's Hoytsy over there. He heard his name. Hoytsa, do you want to come and say hello to everyone? Oh, hello, gorgeous. Hello. Niki News is coming over as well. She's photobombing. There's the Noodles. There's the Hoity Poitsy. Hello, gorgeous boy. Oh, don't be mean to Noodles. So his withers are healing. I don't know whether I can... Oh, I'll have to climb up here to show you. I might fall off the fence. Hold on. Oh, so he's got, up on the top here, I'm not going to touch it because it's a bit sore, just this sore patch that suddenly appeared. And it's because the rug had rubbed him a little bit. When they get very wet, they can sit a little bit heavy, and his skin has become more sensitive over the years as he's aged. So it did appear like that very quickly, but we're putting him under the solarium every day. He's having it cleaned with some hibiscrub and having flamazine on, which is really soothing and great for healing because it's got silver in it and a low level of antibiotics. So he's okay. Are you grinding your teeth? Are you grinding your teeth? Yes. Oh, let's give you scratchies. Give you scratchies. Oh, hoitsy poitsy. Look, all his hair's coming out, even though it's freezing cold today. Your winter coat's all coming out, isn't it, darling? Eh? Oh, he's so beautiful. Yes. He's very gorgeous. Do you want to give everyone kisses? You want to give everyone kisses? Yeah. Sorry, Noodles. Did Hoitsy push you out the way? There's the Noodles. No, you're right, Beelzebubs. There's nothing softer than a muzzle. It's, if ever I've been away from them for a little while, it's this part. It's like velvet. Isn't it, darling? Yeah. Is it like velvet? He says, I'm going to chew on your fingers now. Do you want me to rub your gums? That's something that they like sometimes, is if you put your fingers... He's not going to let me do it now. You have to be very careful, obviously. You have to know what you're doing. But if you can put your fingers up on their top gums... He's not going to let me do it today, but he lets me do it quite a bit. No, you're not going to let me. But yeah, if you can get your fingers up on their top gums and rub them, they sometimes really love that. Oh, sorry, have I missed? Jamie's off. Thank you for joining, Jamie, and I hope my email made some sense. Who's the tallest horse? Yolanda's the tallest, and then Hoytsa. Oh, have we got Katie here, Kim? Oh, we have. Hello, thank you for joining us. Oh, Hoytsy's tired now. Either that or I'm boring him silly. Anyway, let me take you over. There's Floppy Doo. He's been in the friendship barn this morning, had a lovely time with Sophie, who was here with her mum and dad, celebrating her 11th birthday. Are you just chilling over here now? Little Floppy Doo? Oh, the little bottom lip's going. Is it going? Yes. They do like a gum massage, Paul. Yes. Are you all right, darling? He had such a lovely time in there. Were you snoozing? Yeah. And then over here, we've got everybody's favourite rainbow boy, who's actually being very good, given that he's in the round pen on his own without a babysitter. There's your handsome boy. Hello, Nero. How are we doing? How are we doing, young man? You going to give everyone a kiss? Don't steam the camera up. Anyway, I think that's as good a place to end as any, because I will have to get on with doing some more yard duties with Frey, finding my son Bailey, who's gone off walking somewhere today. I think he's walked miles. That's the great thing about phones these days. I can track where he is. Anyway, thank you again, everybody, for joining. I will do my best to bring you more lives next week. Frey and I will try and do another morning feed time. One last thing, again, if you've not hit that subscribe button, help us out. We're trying to grow our numbers, and it's lovely to have more and more animal-loving people in this lovely community that we've got. So thank you, and see you all again very soon.